misfortune, the Maniacs. Can the Icebox keep Little Richard in line without resorting to his devastating deep freeze? Will Skinny Minnie and Electric Randy beat the Blonde Bomber? And can Sunset Stevie make it up the wall of death?
Champion T-Birds want nothing more than to skate this season as a unified team. But the year has been an obstacle course for them and remains so tonight. Hello everyone, with David Sams, Chuck Underwood from the Super Roller Dome, where tonight the T-Birds must skate without their beloved tiny hero, Ralphie Valadares.
Chuck, this is getting absolutely outrageous. The bottom line is Georgia Haas ought to be thrown into the alligator pit. Now she's keeping little Ralphie Valadares off the track for, get this, age limitation. She's gone out and got an injunction, and she's got Skull and Guru Drew behind her. This is getting outrageously stupid.
First out into the arena through that smoke-filled tunnel are the Maniacs.
Here they are, the mercenaries of the league. High-priced talent they are, and they're led by their manager, Guru Drew, their spiritual advisor. And Chuck, I think that we ought to have a congressional hearing on this guy. I think that he's up to no good.
Well, we know this much. He is part of the animal kingdom, but after that it gets a bit hazy. Little Richard, one of their top skaters. This is the team that features that woman, the Blonde Bomber, and the green hair of Lizard.
Oh, this motley crew of no-goods is up to no good tonight. Let's go down now and let Shelly Jamison at trackside. Shelly.
Ralphie is really angry tonight. He tells me his arch enemies, Guru Drew, Georgia Haas, and Skull, have tried to prevent him from skating in this game. But I've got the inside story to this. Ralphie says he may defy that ruling and skate anyway. Further, he says he may have another surprise. So let's wait and see.
Now out, stars and stripes and red and white and blue in the T-Birds.
They are America's team, and led by none other, the living legend himself. There he is, number 8, little Ralphie Valadares. And they have tried so very hard to keep him off the track. I'm speaking, of course, of that evil Ms. Georgia Haas, Guru Drew and Skull. But so far, they have not been able to. Ralphie is defying league bylaws, and he is defying that injunction tonight. He says, I'm going to skate anyway. And Chuck, I don't know what's going to happen to him. It's going to be interesting to see. But with the Icebox out there helping him tonight, I don't think that he can go wrong making this major decision to go ahead and skate.
The Icebox, you feel, is part of the grudge to watch tonight.
Oh, I can't wait to see the Icebox. He's back in rare form tonight. After that injury a few weeks ago, he has not been able to use that deep freeze, but now, tonight, I think he's going to against Little Richard.
The game begins. The red, white, and blue of the T-Birds, and in the black, the Maniacs, whose initial jetter is going to be Sunset Stevie Santillan. There he goes up the wall of death. Behind him is Stars and Stripes, Matt Bickham. 6 points for Stars and Stripes, only 2 for Stevie. Likewise, 6 on the jet jump for Matt Bickham, and then he drops Sunset Stevie and will go for single points. He gets around and then almost has to backpedal to get around Little Richard, and finally does clear him for a single point. Now comes a whip from the Icebox, Robert Smith. Less than 10 seconds remaining in the cycle. He gets around Crazy Dave Mesereau for a second point and goes underneath Wildfire Robert Ferris, and the cycle ends with the T-Birds enjoying a quick 15-4 lead.
Here's how you score in roller games. Above that top line on the wall of death, you get 6 points if you take 3 big strides. Below it, you get 2 points. And on the jump, you get 6 points if you make that big 12-foot marker right there. Behind it, you get 2 points. Of course, to get the points, you must land on your feet.
On the infield is Little Richard, 42 years old, 16-year veteran, nursing what appears to be a bruised shoulder. Meanwhile, that'll be Crazy Dave Mesereau.
Come on!
In the black,
you
and ahead of him will be Dynamite Daryl Davis.
Did he make a jump?
6 points for Crazy Dave, only 2 for Dynamite. They both get 2 on the jet jump. And now comes the elbow swinging and blocking like that, and down goes Crazy Dave in pain. Dynamite coming up on rear blocker, Little Richard.
Bam!
Little Richard likes to use, and those are legal leg blocks, by the way. Crazy Dave trying to sneak by. Dynamite plays a little defense for a while. Then he gets back to trying to score. Little Richard, though, is peppering Dynamite. Crazy Dave passes. 3 seconds left.
Oh, he got him in the neck.
Clotheslined, and down goes Dynamite, and this cycle has been a good one for the Maniacs. They now trail 19-13.
Unbelievable hit.
Dynamite trying to stop the spinning.
Here's the T-Bird lineup. Led by Dynamite Darrell tonight, number 1. Billy Bob Bevis, Stars and Stripes, Icebox, and of course, the living legend himself, Ralphie Valadares.
You get up, that's what I'm saying. Get over there and let us do the lecture.
Well, Bill Griffiths Jr. has his first lecture from referee Don Lastra.
Bill Griffiths Jr., of course, the manager and owner of the T-Birds.
Under 3 minutes left in this first 6-minute period. The ladies will skate 2 and 3. Men will be back in the 4th. Sunset Stevie, in his 14th year in this league, is going to jet again. And a bit behind him is Stars and Stripes, but time doesn't matter. Stars and Stripes gets 6 and maxes out with another 6 off the jet jump, the full 12 points.
They've got to give Stars and Stripes a Rookie of the Year award. I just know it, Chuck.
24 years old, and as soon as his skates touched the track, he was one of the league's top skaters. Ralphie hits the rail. Little Richard is jumping on the back of 2 T-Birds. That clears it up for Sunset Stevie. Taps his helmet, stops the cycle early to prevent Stars and Stripes from scoring anymore. And it's 31-20, T-Birds.
I've just learned that little Ralphie Valadares has challenged the Unholy Three to a 3-on-1 race. He says that he's going to settle the score once and for all with Guru, Georgia Haas, and Skull. Chuck, he says he's going to do it next week here on RollerGames.
Skating you're talking about. Georgia Haas on skates. Do we have that right?
Well, he's going to take him on. I can't wait to see him go up against Georgia on that wall of death. It could be devastating.
Poor little Ralphie has had more perils this year than Pauline ever imagined.
I wish they'd just leave that guy alone and let him do what he does best, and that is skate.
There is Speedy Gonzalez for the T-Birds. Behind him, Mercenary Mike Dark. Both men get 2 on the wall of death, and they get 2 on the jump. Mercenary knocks Speedy off balance. Down goes Speedy.
Come on.
Now he's going to get quite an escort. Little Richard's going to whip him. Crazy Dave's going to block. He gets a couple of points around a couple of T-Birds. A 3rd point as he goes around Dynamite Darrell.
There he goes.
Oh, a second pass at the jetway and the wall of death. He gets 2 points there on the wall. You don't find this too often, and 2 off the jet jump as well.
Yeah, he didn't do so bad considering he didn't really get a whip.
And time runs out as Mercenary Mike goes down.
He paid the dues there.
But he has pulled the Maniacs now to within just 3 points of the T-Birds. And as you see on the clock in the upper right, time left only for one more 45-second scoring cycle.
Keep in mind that each period in RollerGames is only 6 minutes in length.
Here we go. That is Sunset Stevie and Stars and Stripes.
Yeah,
and again, Stars and Stripes maxes out with 6 on the wall and the full 6 on the jump. Down goes Sunset Stevie. Little Richard is rear blocking Stars and Stripes, who's now going to pick up some help from Billy Bob Bibas.
Stars and Stripes, the All-American kid. He stands for truth, justice, and on the American way.
He's got 2 points, and now 3 as Kevin Ross spins over the rail. 1 man to pass, Sunset Stevie, 3 seconds left, but Stars and Stripes will not get around him. Despite the fact that Stevie goes down hard under the rail and he didn't slow down. Hit the concrete at full speed.
Oh, come on, you can't hit him. It's like stomping on the American flag when you go up to that guy. Leave him alone.
Well, Sunset Stevie indeed sailed into the sunset. He's down off the track. There's little Richard on the infield.
That's what he gets for picking on Stars and Stripes.
We've reached the end of the first period. It's 50-36. Guru Drew there helping Sunset Stevie, and appears they're going right for the locker room. Meanwhile, there's the ice box, all 357 pounds of him. David Ralphie Valadares would like him to lose 107 pounds and skate at 250. That would be like losing the equivalent of skinny mini Gwen Miller, who's about to skate.
That chance. This guy's never going to lose that weight. That's why he's so good out there. He is the proverbial immovable object on defense. He can't lose that weight.
Here's Shelly Jamison.
Ralphie, league rules say you shouldn't be skating tonight. Why are you skating?
I don't know, I'm just playing defying the league rules at this moment. Don't ask me why. I just feel that I should.
I've got to ask you something else. What have you done in committing yourself in a 3-against-1 match race? Why would you do that?
Well, maybe I made a mistake, but I don't think so. I feel very confident.
No, Ralphie, you can't do that. 3 against 1?
Well,
you can't do that.
The odds aren't very good, Ralphie.
It's never been done before. That's why maybe I want to do it. At this point, I don't care. I could skate the whole team, and 3 people right now, I feel I can do it. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel about it.
Well, Ralphie, I know you can do it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just
Anybody
go
can
for
do it. Ralphie can. He's the living legend.
Okay, we'll have to find out and see what happens. He may be risking it all. Back to you, Chuck and Dave.
Well, Ralphie, nobody said life was fair. It's constantly out of the skillet and into the fire for the little guy as you look at the scoreboard clock. End of the first period.
Coming up, it's the second period with the ladies, and Wally George is hot about something.
Earlier this season in the Super Roller Dome, the Queen of Mean went on a rampage of pain. But watch how Patsy Delgado strikes back.
4 seconds left.
A Latin Spitfire gives Sweet Stephanie a shot that sends her sailing, much to the delight of the crowd in the Super Roller Dome.
And a more grave concern.
Now
the fact
see
that
it again in super slow roller
Sweet Stephanie
motion.
facing
Patsy
long
Delgado, the
time.
Latin Spitfire, sends
The
Sweet
Latin
Stephanie on a
Spitfire.
date with Mr. Concrete.
Look for War exclusives on YouTube.
In the Super Roller Dome, we begin the second period with the ladies up. The T-Birds lead the Maniacs 50-36, and now begins another 45-second scoring cycle, and the Jetters will be Skinny Minnie, Gwen Miller in the red, white, and blue of the T-Birds, and behind her, the Spider, leggy Denise Green. Up to that 14-foot-high wall of death they go. Down comes Skinny Minnie triumphantly. Not so for the Spider. 2 points on wall and jump for Skinny Minnie, and the Spider gets 0 through that jetway.
Come on, Skinny.
Skinny at 105 pounds is trying to get her around the 155 of number 2, the blonde bomber, who gets bombed from behind by Electric Randy, and that opens it up. That was a single point for Skinny. Another and another as she passes Masako Origi of Japan.
Boy, she's incredibly fast out there. Oh!
There goes the Spider. It's been a brutal cycle for her. Guru Drew comes out onto the track, but Skinny Minnie easily avoids him. Now the finger pointing. And the T-Birds have had a good cycle, and they have upped their lead.
The blonde bomber's gonna try to drop the bomb on Skinny Minnie tonight, but Chuck, Skinny Minnie is so fast that I don't think she's in any danger, because with this T-Bird lineup behind her, they are absolutely the absolute best women in the whole league.
57-36 as Skinny Minnie enjoyed a cycle in which the T-Birds shut out the Maniacs while scoring 7 themselves. The helmet is passed to Christine Van Gelder, the T-Bird twin. There she goes. Behind
Christine.
her, Big Mo, Monica Garcia.
Oh, what a tumble she took.
Down comes Christine. Big Mo, meanwhile, gets 2 and 2. Christine gets 2 as she just has to ease her way over the jet jump.
Oh. Boy, they're really using those butt pads tonight.
Number 3, the blonde hair there of the T-Birds belongs to Debbie McCorkle, and she gets pulled down by that blonde hair as Big Mo passes her for a point. Number 2 is Gina Go-Go Gonzalez. She goes down. That's another point for the Maniacs. And Electric Randy is being wrestled down by the Bomber. So the Bomber clears the path. Big Mo has a good cycle, and back come the Maniacs.
A pretty deep lineup here, but I'll tell you, the one to look out for, in my opinion, is Liz Ard. She, Chuck, is turning out to be... Uh-oh.
You got enough pulling hair out here. I guess you know what happens if you pull hair. Let me see. All right, I'm watching you, though. Someone said you
No
pulled hair.
fistful of hair, she says.
I know you from years ago. I know your hair, but let's go.
From years ago, the blonde bomber is in her 7th year in the sport.
I was going to say, Chuck, Liz Ard, you see her there in the front of the pack with the green hair. Oh, pardon me, the iguana green hair. She's turning out to be quite the reptile of the league.
There goes Skinny Minnie. She rested the last cycle. She's off balance up the wall. Is able, though, to get 2 points. Same with the Spider. They both get 2 over the jump. And then the Spider is knocked off track. Little Skinny Minnie compensates for that swizzle stick build with big fire in the belly. She skates with a lot of gusto. Well, the blockers have each other tied up.
You can do it.
The Spider just swept by them. Quick 3 points for the Spider. Skinny Minnie, meanwhile, was tied
Over
up.
the rail she goes.
And now she's going to coattail the T-Bird twin, gets a whip, and subways the blonde bomber, who misses with a flying hip block, and the cycle ends.
That's the play that she's used so many times this season, so very effectively.
Well, we now want to give you an update on quite a play last week. It occurred in the All-Star game, and Mr. Mean Harold Jackson went up and over the wall of death. He landed on scaffolding that was placed above and beyond the wall, but he hit with his leg that railing, the piping you see behind him. He's okay.
So for all 5 of you who wrote in from the State Correctional Institute wondering how Mr. Mean was, he is okay, and that scumbag will return to the track someday soon.
There's the corker, Debbie McCorkle, number 3 of the T-Birds, jetting for her team. She gets 2. They're going to give Big Mo Monica Garcia 6.
She deserved it. She did it.
Bye-bye to the corker, and there goes Big Mo. She's going to grab the coattails of number 2, the blonde bomber. And with a little help from the green hair of Lizard, they're going to get around one of the T-Bird twins. That's Jennifer. And then around Gina Gogo for still another single point. 12 seconds left in the cycle. Electric Randy trying to get ahead of everybody, but the bomber has her by that electric red hair.
Come on, what's going on?
And the bomber rides her down as the cycle ends, and there's the score. The Maniacs are within 3 of the Birds.
Look how close this one is, Chuck. If this continues, we can have a tie game when we conclude the 4th quarter. And of course, that's when sudden death takes place. And that's when they bring out the alligators to be the tie-breaking mechanism in this game. And that has been so very controversial this year. Half the league says, yes, we want the alligators. The other half say no. But so many people are saying those alligators have got to go. They're so ridiculous. You cannot have alligators in professional sports. So we're going to allow you, the viewing public, to decide, should the alligators be banned from RollerGames or should they stay? You have an opportunity to vote on that issue right before the 3rd period begins.
This will be the final cycle of the first half. Skinny Minnie Gwen Miller will be jetting against the Spider Denise Green after she exchanges a few words with Guru Drew. Remember, in this first quick cycle like this, the first lap, I should say, the idea is to build up speed for the jetway. The jetway includes the wall of death and the jet jump. There goes Skinny Minnie with the whip from the corker. 2 for her, 2 for the Spider. They get above only that lower line. And they both get 2 coming across the jet jump. Clock counting down to wind up this first half. The jetters come upon the rear blockers. Electric Randy slowing down the Spider. The blonde bomber is going to work on Skinny Minnie. And she staggers her, and again the Spider goes down. She's facing Electric Randy, one of the top blockers, as you can see right there in the lead.
Come on, Skinny.
Masako Origi is cleared out of the way. Skinny Minnie gets 3 points. The cycle ends. She flips the helmet behind her, and Electric Randy nearly slaps it into the face of our cameraman. Whoops!
Bam!
Cycle ends, but not the action. Skinny Minnie's going to clear the house. Down goes the bomber. And now comes Electric Randy to put a little mustard on the sandwich. Thank you.
Call your friends. We're going to have an update on the alligators. Call your friends. Get ready to vote, America. Get ready to determine whether or not the alligators should remain in this game or be banned from RollerGames.
Well, they're not done. All-out war on several venues. That's Electric Randy and the Spider. In comes Skinny Minnie. Down goes the Spider. Up come the referees, pointing fingers. Skinny points right back. Celebration by the T-Birds. Little Richard comes up to rescue the Spider. And down goes Little Richard. Skinny Minnie is taking on all comers.
And now, in super roller motion, we see how devastating Skinny Minnie can be to the opposition as she drop kicks the blonde bomber and sends her in for a crash landing. And then all of a sudden, Electric Randy does her version of the deep freeze. And Chuck, I think she picked that up from the ice box. And then I think Little Richard was asking Skinny Minnie out for a date right there.
End of the first half. T-Birds lead. Coming up, Wally George.
Hey, Wally, give it to us.
And Georgia speaks out.
Look for war exclusives on Facebook. And now, a few special moments with RollerGames' own Wally George.
Time to go to the old mailbag, folks, and see what you viewers have to say to Wally. Here's the first one. Dear Wally, I'm sick of your old fogey views on rock and roll. Wait a minute here. That's the best part of RollerGames, is the music. And if you don't like it, here are some earplugs. Signed, Kimberly. Hey, listen, you little bimbo. I'm not even going to discuss the merits of this heavy metal rock and roll. The fact is that it's evil, non-musical garbage, but that doesn't even concern me. My beef is that RollerGames is supposed to be a sport, not a rock concert. You don't go to see Guns N' Roses to see them skate, do you? And you shouldn't go to RollerGames to see them boogie. Next letter. Dear Wally, I agree wholeheartedly with your stand that those cheerleaders bumping and grinding in their scanty costumes are an affront to decent, clean-living roller fans everywhere. That's great. Please ask the RollerGames cameraman to show more close-ups of them so I can show all of my male friends the kind of moral degradation that's destroying this country from within. I want to put a stop to it. Signed, Mookie. Atta boy, Mookie. It's decent, upstanding folk like you that will help me turn this thing around. I'm Wally George, and I welcome your comment.
The opinions of Wally George practically never reflect those of the producers.
At halftime in the Dome, the T-Birds lead the Maniacs 76-70. Next week, these same Maniacs will be taking on the Rockers. And manager Guru Drew has these thoughts on the Rockers.
They are bubblegum. They're trash can items, products. You hear me? Something you dump and you burn and you destroy. We will do it. I'll do it. And if you think I'm playing, better mess around.
Guru Drew. Coming up the third period, Skinny Minnie and her friends return.
It's been called the most hotly contested ruling in the history of professional sports. When the commissioner agreed to allow gators to be used in cases of sudden death overtime, it divided skaters, managers, and fans alike. He's got him by the shirt. He's got him up to the rail. The purists say that it is brutal. It's dangerous. It's downright disgusting. The Gator fans love the danger, the excitement. Should the Gators go or should they stay? The commissioner has ruled that the public should decide, and everybody has an opinion.
I want to get my hands on the guy who put a pit full of live alligators right on the RollerGames track. That really steams my windshield.
Any decision affecting the future of the alligators will also affect Animal. He is trainer, protector, and friend to the Gators. He followed them here from the jungle, and he keeps them ready for action. And action is what we've seen all season long. Half the teams in the league want the Gators to stay, and half want them to go.
Why all the commotion?
Well, frankly, I don't understand what all this controversy is all about. Everybody's trying to make this creature into man-eating vicious beasts, which they're not.
Should the alligators go or should they stay?
Of course they should stay. You know, they belong to the sport. They belong in there, and they got just as much to do with the sport as the players and everything else. They're part of the show. Of course they should stay.
America, this is the most important vote of your lifetime. Vote now. Should the alligators go or should they be banned from RollerGames for good? Vote right now.
Now for the third period of play, the T-Birds lead the Maniacs 76-70, a final 6-minute sprint for the women. Then the men will be up in the fourth. Skinny Minnie J.Miller is going to open this third period, jetting for the T-Birds, and it will be the Spider Denise Green for the Maniacs. First up will be the Spider with those long legs of her, but with them she gets only 2 on the wall of death, as does Skinny Minnie, and both women get 2 on the jet jump.
Skinny came so close.
Well, she gets the Spider as they go around. The blonde bomber then slows up. My goodness, is the Spider ever in a knot? She also has to climb back on one of the higher parts of the track. The Corker rides down the blonde bomber. The Spider's just now getting back onto the track, and she might just be leaving it again. Skinny Minnie is just dragging her along like a bad tailpipe, dragging the asphalt. The Spider says, I have had better days, thank you, and Skinny dances in jubilation.
Now, here's how you score in roller games. Above that top line on the wall of death, you get 6 points if you take 3 big strides, 2 points between the first and second lines. And on the jump, you get 6 points if you make it over that 12-foot marker, and 2 points behind it. But then again, you must land on your skates in order to score the points.
Now jetting for the T-Birds is going to be T-Bird twin Jennifer Van Gelder, recently married to a professional beach volleyball player. She'll get a whip, and behind her will be Big Mo Monica Garcia. She's quite a bit behind. 2 for each lady on the wall and on the jump.
Come on, Jennifer, you can do it.
Jennifer's a rookie and learning the hard way how to deal with the rail. Big Mo, a veteran, drops her.
She's learned how to deal with everything in this league this year, including Georgia Haas.
The blonde bomber trying to get ahead of that black helmeted Big Mo to give her some help. And she does on Gina Gogo.
Ooh, that hurt.
That's a single point for Big Mo. Can she get around Electric Randy? Yes, there's another single point, and she stops the cycle.
These Maniacs are on a war path now, Chuck.
Well, on that last cycle, they picked up 2 points. They now trail by 5, and the blonde bomber returns the favor.
Chuck, I was just browsing through the Bible of roller games. That, of course, is Roller Games magazine. And in the statistics section, Big Mo is leading all these women this year in total point score with 103. And right behind her, who else but Gwen Miller, Skinny Minnie of the T-Birds, with 82.
5-point game, perhaps a close one because of the work of Big Mo and Skinny Minnie. 2 fine jetters, and Skinny Minnie is going to be jetting this time for the T-Birds. It'll be the Spider, Denise Green, for the Maniacs. I think we have some information coming up after this cycle, by the way, on David's message regarding the banishment or not of the Gators. There goes Skinny Minnie. Neither got a good whip. Didn't work well on the wall for either woman. Skinny did get 2 points. She also gets 2, as does the Spider, coming across that 3-foot-high jet jump.
Boy, she really moves out there.
Blonde bomber once again all over Electric Randy, riding her down, so the Spider is scoring some good points. So is Skinny Minnie, though. Look at him go, stride for stride. It's a longer route for the Spider. Look at the bomber waiting for Skinny Minnie, who ducks, and the blonde bomber gets her own teammate.
She sent her on a collision course that was devastating.
A total of 6 individual points back on the main concourse. It's a 10-point T-Bird lead.
Chuck, it's a real war out there. These teams are torn. Half the teams want the Gators, half do not. The ones that do not want the Gators, they say send them back to Washington, D.C. Let them reside with Congress. We don't need Gators in this great game of roller games. Send them back to the swamp. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are leaving the vote up to you. Should these Gators be banned once and for all from roller games?
Gina Gogo Gonzalez high on the wall, but she only gets 2 points. So does Big Mo Monica Garcia. It is a 10-point lead by the T-Birds.
Wow!
And they lose their jetter. Meanwhile, number 4, Electric Randy, is going to try to at least slow down Big Mo, but here comes the blonde bomber in to rescue. And she takes Randy down for the umpteenth time in this game. 2 quick points for Big Mo as she passes the T-Bird twin Jennifer and the Quirker. She stops the cycle, and she has halved the deficit. Now her Maniacs trail by only 5. And back up track, the fight continues between that woman, Electric Randy, and the blonde bomber. They've just separated, but my goodness, what a game those two have had.
Come on, Randy, go give her a shock.
Game within a game. Finger pointing, well, that's part of the sport. We all know that. Well, now they've been separated, and around we go again. Skinny Minnie, Gwen Miller is going to be jetting for the T-Birds, and the Spider once again. Those frail legs of the Spider obviously nonetheless have some sturdiness to them because she has spent a lot of time heading up that jetway tonight. We're in the 3rd period. Men on the infield about to limber up for the 4th and final 6 minutes.
Atomic whip!
That's a double whip for the Spider. Behind her is Skinny Minnie, and Skinny Minnie is a bit rickety. She gets no points. The Spider gets 2. They both get 2 off that jet jump.
Boy, they're wearing Skinny Minnie down, Chuck. She's been jetting all night long.
Spider comes down on the lip of the track and grabs the tailbone. We should mention it's a protected tailbone. All the skaters wear what is the equivalent of a girdle, and that girdle contains hip pads on the sides and a tailbone pad on the back, almost identical to what is worn in the sport of football. And you can see that they need it.
Oh, did she ever get her good?
Skinny Minnie finishes the cycle and finishes the bomber. And the period ends as well. The fighting doesn't. T-Birds lead by 6. We now go to Shelly Jamison.
I'm here with Georgia, Guru, Drew, and Skull. Ralphie has pitted himself against 3 other skaters. Don't you think it's going to be unfair, Georgia?
First of all, I've told you 10 million times, it's Ms. Georgia Haas. You got it. As far as this big shot who thinks he is, he shouldn't have any problem with this match race. I'm only a woman. What more can I do?
Wait. Let me reiterate. This is not only a woman, but a lady. Also, that old has-been rocking chair, ready for the can-yard guy. He thinks he's got the experience to whip 3 of us. He thinks he can whip 5 of us. He can whip any amount of us, but he's gonna take 3 of us any way it goes, baby.
I don't know.
That old man's in a wheelchair from now on.
Ralphie, he's a little guy. We'll have to see what happens.
Unbelievable.
I'm not sure I'd want to take those 3 on. We'll see what happens with poor Ralphie. Back to you, Chuck and Dave.
104-98. T-Birds lead. 4th period coming up when we will see Sunset Stevie wide-eyed and at full sail.
Can you believe that Guru called Ralphie a has-been? And now, War's coverage of roller games continues.
6 minutes left. Men up. 4th period. T-Birds lead the Maniacs 104-98. And for the Maniacs, Sunset Stevie's going to jet. A 5'3" powder keg who grew up with 4 sisters and no brothers. And he says, when I get married, I'm going to have sons. He goes down way low, knew that he didn't have a chance, didn't get a proper whip, so he just gave up on the wall. Meanwhile, Stars and Stripes' Matt Bickham got 2, and they both got 2 on the jump. And now Stars and Stripes pile drive Sunset Stevie into a 2-legged wall named the Icebox.
Oh, boy. Oh, that hurt.
Down goes Kevin Ross. Stars and Stripes will now work on number 4, Wildfire. Bob Ferris. He does get around him for still another point, and he's looking for more. A final whip from Ralphie Valadares, time running out, and he passes Sunset Stevie, and Sunset Stevie finally loses his balance. A 9-point lead for the T-Birds. Stars and Stripes has done his job.
Boy, this is a dandy tonight.
Dynamite, Daryl Davis grabs the jetting helmet from Stars and Stripes, and it'll be Wildfire Robert Ferris heading up the jetway for the Maniacs. Long and lanky Robert behind Dynamite Daryl. But look at him get 6 on the wall. Can he max out now with 6 over the jump? Easily so.
No doubt about it.
Here come the Maniacs. This will be a good cycle for them. And look at Wildfire go.
Bam.
Almost got around Billy Bob Bibbas, then got tapped off the track, but look how quickly he is back. Little Richard will now come up and try to block for him. He clears a path. There's a single point. Gets around Ralphie and Speedy Gonzalez for 2 more points. Maniacs are probably going to take the lead in this cycle.
Boy, he's on a rampage.
Final obstacle, Billy Bob Bibbas gets some help from Little Richard, and the cycle ends with he and Dynamite slugging it out. But the Maniacs, for the first time in a long time, have the lead. 3 points, 118 to 115.
There he is, the living legend, Ralphie Valadares. You'll see that big match race next week when he takes on Guru, Skull, and Ms. Georgia Haas.
Watch this shootout on the jetway. 2 of the best. Little Richard, 6 points. Stars and Stripes, 6 points. Little Richard, 6 points. Stars and Stripes, 6 points. Even though he lost his balance, they say it was well after the jump, and they're going to give him that.
Well, he deserved it.
Both jetters max out on the jetway. And then they face the crowd.
Cast your vote. Should the alligators be banned or not?
Couple of whips for Little Richard, trying to get around Dynamite Daryl, and he 360s his way around him. Nice move by Little Richard.
Chuck, ever since last week when DC Ghetto came out and sang the theme song right here in the Super Roller Dome from RollerGames, our switchboards have been lining up. Everybody wants to know how they can hear Rock and Roller Games again. We encourage you right now to call your local radio station and ask them to play the theme from RollerGames. The theme from RollerGames. So right after the show today, call your local radio station.
Well, there's a sight. The icebox at 357 is going to jet. He's going to take on the wall of death, and I have a feeling we're about to witness a textbook example of Newton's law of gravity.
Come on, Box. Give these Maniacs a cold spell they'll never forget.
It's not exactly building up speed there by normal standard. Let's see if he can get above that 2-point line. No, he's no fool, thank you.
Oh, he's coming back, Chuck.
Oh, will the knees handle it? A bit shaky, but he gets to.
Yeah!
Now he's back home. He scatters him over the jump, and now he's cool.
He freezes him out. Chuck, you will not believe what is going on down in the war room. I cannot believe the millions of votes that are coming in from folks all around the globe on this alligator issue. Ladies and gentlemen, go vote now. Should the alligators stay or should they be banned from RollerGames?
The Maniacs trail by only 2 points. Little Richard gets 6 on the wall. So does Stars and Stripes. Little Richard gets the full 6, they say. And Stars and Stripes only 2, but Little Richard missed his screamer, so Stars and Stripes is on the move.
This one is so very, very close.
Now passing and getting the individual points, and Stars and Stripes has his team in a slight lead.
Get those Gators ready.
Can he get around Sunset Stevie? 10 seconds left in the game clock. This will be it.
Yeah!
They break apart and come back together now. Stars and Stripes, 3 seconds, 2.
1.
And the game will end. The T-Birds will win. Down goes Stevie, and Stevie's going to stay down. Reaching for the small of his back, apparently injured.
This one came so very close, Chuck. We almost saw those alligators.
We'll be back.
Well, here it is, the 3rd most streamed song all of last week. DC Gatchel with Rockin' Roller Games. chance to vote once and for all. We are accepting your votes right now. Do it. This is important. Should the alligators go, or should they be sent back to Washington, D.C. with the rest of the swamp?
We now take a look at the game-ending play in which Stars and Stripes Matt Bickham rolls forward Sunset Stevie Santillan on the high part of the track. He bounced on the lower part of his back and stayed down after he took that fall. And as we cut back now to live, you will see Sunset Stevie receiving attention. And they're looking at both his leg and his back, so we're not certain of the injury. Meanwhile, in another part of the track, David Sams has found Ralphie Valadares. David?
Ralphie, why did you defy league rules tonight and skate?
David, I don't know. All I know is that at this point, I was just so angry, so upset that I just skated the game. I know I'm gonna get fined, but I do know that at this point, I can skate the whole team. That's the way I feel right now.
Ralphie, I think that you're really heading
towards... suicidal. You agreed to skate against me, Skull, and Guru. And believe me, when we're through with you, Buster, you are dead meat.
We'll keep you posted. We'll see what happens next week. Back to Chuck.
Final score, 147 to 143. T-Birds beat the Maniacs. See you next week.
RollerGames.